Hello, listeners. I'm your host, Jeff Hatter. Thank you for tuning in to Yerba Travels podcast, the place that delivers all the marvelous wonders of our beautiful world from first-hand accounts of people who live in these exotic places. After listening, head over to yerbatravels.com to find out more cool information. That's yerbatravels.com. And don't forget to subscribe and join the Yerba Travels community. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation. All right, my guest today is joining us from the City of Lights, better known as Paris, France, and her name is Soo Kim. Soo, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you today?
I'm doing good. It's gray and sunny at the same time, so
Ooh, a little change in weather going on, huh?
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, why don't you introduce yourself for our listeners? Tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe, where you're living and so forth.
Um, Hi everyone. My name is Sue. I lived in France for 5 years now. I live just right outside of Paris, called a city called Romainville. It's it's quiet. There are some forests around, so I prefer the suburban than living in the city. Um, so I guess
Yeah. So Romanville, is that the name of the area?
yeah, that's where I live in right
Ah,
now.
I thought you were living in downtown Paris. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Out in the
I did
suburbs.
at first in the beginning. I did live that in Paris, but it was too noisy
Oh,
and
really?
the rent and everything is just too expensive. So I decided to come outside of Paris.
And how far outside are you? Like, how long does it take you to get into the city now?
Um, it takes about anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes to get to downtown Paris. That's
Okay.
where my work is in Paris, so I have to commute like that every day.
And is that by public transport or do you drive?
Yeah, by metro.
Mm, that's not too bad. 20, 30 minutes isn't too bad.
I don't know, it's really easy. And cuz like right now I chose this place because right now they're expanding Paris, so they're making big what they call the big Paris.
The big Paris.
So
Okay.
they're extending the metro lines and the bus lines and everything. So that's why I decided to come out here because they're developing a lot here in Romainville.
So what's that place like where you live now? Is it, are there a lot of boutique shops, cafes, or is it
No,
more outside?
no, they're in the process of developing the area. So right now there is one very brand new outdoor mall where they have a bar, restaurants, and clothing stores. So I think that's going to be the main attraction, and because they have a hotel there as well. And there are two new museums here. So and then they're building a lot of new apartments around. So I'm thinking like 5, 6 years from now, then there will be boutiques and cafes that
Yeah.
uh, people, the families, and everybody can enjoy. But right now, it's pretty empty.
Mm. But they've got bars there. They got to put those in first, right? To get the people out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are bars, but you know, it's not what you would expect in Paris. Because in Paris, there will be a lot of people, a lot of young people,
Mhm.
but here it's not there yet. So it's mostly just family members, you know, going
Yeah.
to the mall or having some drinks at the bar.
Okay. So that area is right now it's mostly families. The younger generation is staying in Paris right now.
Right, Right.
Okay.
But right now, because of the new apartments and the new development, a lot of younger people are moving down here because it is cheaper. And here they always try to buy their own apartment. So that's it saves money that way than renting apartment.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine Paris is super expensive just for rent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically throwing money in the trash.
Yeah.
So
Unless
that's
you're
what a lot of people.
the landlord.
Right, right. So this apartment right now that I'm living in, it's bought
Oh,
so that
congratulations.
my money, oh, thank you. So that my money goes towards, owning the place.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, that's one thing where I live now in Korea that I really liked is we're about an hour outside of Seoul, and it's kind of suburbs, but there aren't many people. But as you said, where you're living now, it's starting to expand. We're starting to get a
Mhm.
lot of apartment complexes around where we are. They're building, I think, 3 new movie theaters in the area. So
Oh, really?
yeah, they're kind of redeveloping our area a bit. They're moving the kind of entrance to the highway, and the bus station is moving. So I get it.
Well,
I
I've
know
been
that
to
development.
my mother, I mean, my mother, she lives around there, so
Hmm.
I've been to that area. So, isn't your apartment quite new as well? It's like newly
Ours,
developed.
actually, the one that we live in now was the first built in this area. So we're in the, I
Oh,
don't know,
okay.
kind of this area, the oldest one.
Oh, it seemed pretty new when I passed by.
Yeah, I mean, they take care of it really well. The maintenance fees that we have go towards all that. They do the landscaping and the maintenance and all that. So they keep it up pretty well. Um, but yeah, we're the only, or not only, we're the oldest one here. And then just up the road from us, they're building a massive apartment complex has been built already. And
Mhm.
like I said, that's where they're putting in, I think, 2 or 3 movie theaters, and there's a soccer stadium up the road. So a lot of stuff going in.
Okay.
But like you said, where I live, it's a bunch of employees. It's a Samsung town, Samsung.
Yeah, I'm just
So,
gonna change the angle a little bit.
we're getting a little view. Is that the kitchen behind you?
Yeah, that's my living room.
Cool. So I asked you about the getting into town and stuff. If people come to visit, do you think it's a good idea for people to rent cars?
Well, me, honestly, no, because they have different rules here, and um, there are, t- and then the people who are coming from the right have the right of way.
Okay.
So if you're at a traffic circle or if you're at a T intersection, and let's say you're going on the road, and then there's like a road coming from your right.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no sign for the people coming from the right to stop, you have to know they have to stop, make sure there's no car coming, because these drivers that will just come because they know they have right of way.
Oh, interesting point.
So that's really dangerous. So I've never driven here, so I've always relied on my coworker or people I know who are French and who understands the signs. And there are so many signs, and it can be very confusing.
Yeah.
So unless they've driven here before, I I don't know. I think driving in Paris is not recommended. within Paris, you don't want to drive. The traffic is really bad, and and then there's a lot of one ways. So
Mhm.
just use the transportation. But if you're driving outside of Paris, going into different cities, I think that you're going to be on the freeway the most of the time. So I think that will be that might be fine.
Yeah, it's a bit
Um,
easier once you get on highways. I mean, I found that out going to a lot of different countries that I've traveled in. When you're in the cities, it's hectic. It's like it seems like a free for all in a lot of places. But once you get on the highways, people seem to kind of respect each other a little bit when it comes to like changing lanes or passing and so forth. So yeah, when you
mhm.
get out of the city, it might be a little bit easier. Now the signs, are they French only?
Oh no, I haven't really paid attention, but I think yeah, I think it's most just in French.
Okay.
So you really have to know the signs.
Yeah.
And I haven't, that's why I mean, it's really expensive to get the driver license here. It costs about 2,000 euros just to get a driver license. Because you have to go through some driving courses and the tests. I think there are two different tests, so you have to take the exam for signs
Yeah.
because here it's really important. So that just tells you how confusing it can be for foreigners if all French personnel have to pass
Wow.
the exam for
So
signs.
that 2,000 euros, does that include the what do they call it, traffic school and the tests, and that includes everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then if you fail the test, then obviously it's gonna cost more.
Yeah, of course. But in the US, I think it's the same. We have a paper test and a driving test where you have to know the signs and the rules, and that's the paper part. And then you actually go out with an instructor and they tell you, oh, turn at the street up ahead, or do a 3-point turn, parallel park, do all those things. So we actually have to do both of those in America. But in Korea, it's there are some places, if you come from the States, where you can just transfer your license. So if you have your license in the US, you can just kind of transfer it into a Korean license,
Yeah.
which makes it a lot easier for travelers. And Korea accepts the what's it called, the international license.
I mean here as well.
Yeah.
So but if you don't, I don't know, it's just my opinion. I always feel nervous, even just sitting in the passenger seat. If one of my friend, my American friend is driving, because I'm not sure if if my friend understands all the signs, and especially in the traffic circle in Paris, it's really risky, and it always makes me nervous when I get a taxi.
Yeah, and I've seen those in videos, and I don't know how they don't just have massive accidents.
I think they do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of accidents, but I don't watch TV or news, so I don't know. I don't think they report everything.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. But speaking of traveling and you going out with your friends and so forth, what are some good spots outside of Paris that people can visit?
I mean, anywhere outside of Paris is nice to visit. I guess it all depends on, if they want to go to the near the beach or if they want to go towards mountains. But one place that I've been to that I really loved is near the German border. called Strasbourg.
Strasbourg.
The region is called Alsace. Um, it's German. It's French influenced German cities.
Okay.
So along that region was originally owned by Germans, and then I don't know the specific history, but I know that it um, once French took over, but
Yeah,
they still
maybe.
kept the houses and everything. The buildings are just like as if you're in German.
So the architecture is German and the,
Hmm.
you know, the feel of the
Yes,
place is German. Yeah, okay.
right. So their traditional food is also very different as well
Cool.
as
Yeah.
what you would have here, like in Paris. You may get just French, traditional French food, but over there it's different.
Well, share some of that with us. One thing I love to talk about with all my guests is food. When I travel, I love getting authentic food. I absolutely love it. So what kind of food is traditional or authentic in Strasbourg?
Um, well, um, I think I don't want to just point out to one, but
Okay.
one thing that I would recommend is try to find a traditional French restaurant. There are a lot of those, not a lot, but you can find traditional French restaurant, like a family restaurant, and you just try any of their plates, and they're all very delicious.
This might be an ignorant question, but I know France is big with baguettes and the bread, but what is, I mean, escargot and stuff, but what is really traditional French food? What's an example of
Um,
something that's French?
um, well, I guess in the Alsace region, um, the I don't
Do
I don't
they
really
in
know.
in that region, the kind of German feel area, do they have a lot of like we would
It's
call them
mostly meat.
sausages? Yeah, meats, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's mostly
brats.
meat-based
Mm,
plates
okay.
with pasta. But they
Pasta.
have their
Mm,
own like a traditional pasta um that it's like homemade pasta, or it
okay.
comes with French fries. So it could be
Wait,
chicken or
did you say pasta with French fries?
oh no, pasta or French fries, the
Oh, or
sides.
French fries. Okay.
Yeah. It's either pasta or potato
Hmm.
side.
That's
So
that's very German, the potato side.
mhm.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, so I like for me, I would just recommend just explore any of their plates. I don't want to just say there's this one, because all of what they have is traditional. There's no one that's like that everybody understands it as that. Okay, that's one traditional French food in Alsace region.
okay, I gotcha. What's
So
your favorite?
um in Alsace region,
Yeah.
I don't I think that's just something about me. I just never have a favorite.
Okay. How about
If they're
in how about
like
in where you live
anywhere,
now? Oh, anywhere.
anywhere, like Yeah, anywhere or anything that I do, I never have a favorite. It's either I like it and
Mhm.
just depending on how I feel, what I feel about eating or what I crave, and that's what I eat. But I never have a favorite. So um like for the travelers coming to France, that's just basically what I recommend is to explore different kinds of plates.
No, that's a great tip because when you travel, there's usually a ton of options. And as you said, when you travel, you might, some people don't want the traditional food, but they want something that's more authentic to that country. So
Yeah,
exploring is a good option.
I mean, right now, thanks to the technology and everything you can find online, so I would always recommend to make a list of restaurants that are very well reviewed. Um, you can easily find family restaurants and traditional restaurants. Check out whether it's that restaurant. You just never don't want to find a place in touristic areas because they can be expensive and they may not pay attention to the quality of the food. So just if you just go just few miles outside of the touristic area, you can easily find very good, you know, family restaurants
Mhm.
or good quality or the restaurants that's been around for many years.
Yeah, that's another great tip. Just get out of those tourist places. They seem to be traps for people. And when you go, the higher prices and usually lower quality foods. And
Right.
but like
Yeah.
you said, if you just go, 5 minutes outside the city, you're going to find some pretty good restaurants, pretty good food, and so
Hmm.
forth.
Yeah, I
Now,
would recommend not to just to go by the stars, there's how many stars they have,
mhm.
but actually read the reviews by the people, what they're actually saying, if they're commenting on the flavor of the food, or is it the service that's bad,
Mhm.
and as well as check the photos because you can kind of tell if they look if they look good or not. So that's one thing that I always check is the photos and then the actual reviews by the people.
Yeah, we're quite lucky to have that technology today. We can kind of review somewhere and get an idea of what it is before we actually go to it. So,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And then yeah, so I would say that know where good restaurants are, and then you can take your time to explore the area because I know there are some people you know they would just randomly go somewhere and just randomly pick a restaurant. But if you really want to experience good quality food, then I would say at least research some restaurants in that area where you want to go, and then
Mhm.
explore the area, and then just go to the restaurant that is going to serve good food.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people, if they're coming for a long time, they also want to look for like markets where they can get their own fresh food and cook, or expats like you living abroad. How are the markets over there? Do they have like open outdoor markets with fresh fruit and vegetables, or is it these big, mega stores now?
It's both. You can find both. The outdoor markets are scheduled, so that you have to find out online.
Mm,
And not all locations have open markets. So I'm not sure where you can find it, but if you type open markets in whatever area, I'm pretty sure it'll come up.
yeah.
But you can pretty much find grocery stores anywhere. You can find organic grocery stores. So I usually go for the organic
Okay.
because here it's easy to find. and they're not that big. It's small, and vegetables they're not that expensive.
Mm.
So I prefer to go to organic grocery stores.
Mm.
So if you just look it up on the map, wherever you are, you can easily find nearby markets.
Okay. Yeah, the timing thing, that's a good tip for people because in Korea we also have that, like each apartment complex has
Mhm.
their own market day where people they sell, food and clothing. We got a guy that comes and sells flowers and plants and stuff. And ours is every Friday. So that's pretty cool. Like each apartment has their own time, scheduled time or date. But
Oh yeah, yeah, that's
the
cool.
city itself has its own outdoor market.
Oh yeah, yeah. That I know, and I know love those open like outdoor markets in Korea because you can find a lot of stuff and a lot of eatery snacks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can spend all day there.
Yeah,
Um,
you really can. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not like that here. Here the outdoor markets, they always have cheese and what you call I don't know if you heard the charcuterie
What is that?
charcuterie it's like their party food, like a finger food. So it's like cheese and ham and sausages.
Okay. Yeah.
So that you can find in the open markets.
In the open markets, they're kind of like, I guess, private sellers. Like somebody has their own cheese, they make their own cheese and they sell it at the market, or are these
Yeah,
companies
yeah.
selling?
No, I think they have it's their own products that they're selling.
Oh, that's cool. I like going to those and supporting those people.
Yeah, yeah. So they have farmers coming out and selling their stuff. But in
Mm.
the regular grocery stores, you can find those as well. And then they also have non-organic and organic products. So
Okay.
you don't necessarily have to go to the organic stores per se, but the regular grocery stores they sell their branded organic products versus in all organic stores they have products that are made in France or that are produced by France along with other countries.
Okay. So they're not all imported.
In the organic stores,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. French made cheese. What's some good French cheese to get? What do
Oh,
you like to eat?
there are so many variety of cheese. I have not even tried all of them.
I can
But
imagine.
yeah, but unfortunately I'm lactose intolerant, so I
Oh,
can't really go so crazy with um too many cheese, but I sometimes I go for lamb cheese.
lamb cheese. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, those are good for people who have lactose who are lactose intolerant.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can find lamb cheese, lamb yogurt. Yeah.
So, oh, are there any other cheeses or yogurts or dairy products that are good for lactose intolerant people?
There's a goat
Goat.
cheese as
Mhm.
well. Yeah. If they cannot do cow cheese.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. So if anybody listening is lactose intolerant, then, or, find something new to eat, I guess. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, not all lactose intolerant I mean, they all it depends how bad their lactose level. I mean, the tolerance is,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes I don't I'm fine with certain cow cheese. So any cheese that's hard, uh, lactose intolerance people can eat it, and they may not react bad to it.
Mhm.
But if they're fresh cheese or if they're really gooey and soft, then those are what's really going to impact
Cause
us.
problems.
Yeah.
Mhm. So you kind of have to kind of experiment with different products, right?
Hmm.
Wow. That must be a burden.
Yeah, but if there any visitors who are coming to visit and try some cheese, but if they're lactose intolerant, try the hard ones or the lamb cheese, goat cheese.
Awesome. Awesome. Goat cheese, lamb cheese. Try those out.
Hmm.
All right. So you were telling me earlier that you've been in France for about 5 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of tips or advice do you have for people who are coming over, maybe to
Um,
travel or to be expats?
One thing for sure is there are a lot of pickpocketers,
Mm,
especially in the metro area, and I got pickpocketed at least 4 or 5 times. Um, it was only one time that I got my cell phone stolen, and there was one time before that somebody actually took it out of my pocket, but I caught him, so I demanded my cell phone back, and I got it back.
wow.
Because there were a lot of people around, so I guess he didn't want to, uh, you know, catch any attention because there were some police around as well. So there are undercover cops in the metro, and those pickpockets are now very young. They're minors,
Mhm.
so even if they get caught, they don't go to jail. They just get verbal warnings and then they're just let go. So that's
So
what
they
they
can
do now.
repeat and repeat and repeat.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to see a lot, and they're mostly gypsies. So you're going to see a lot of young kids in groups. But they're really good. I've seen it happening in front of my face. So that's one thing that anybody coming to in the Paris region, and even if in other countryside, but if you're in a like really public or touristic area, I would say just make sure that you don't put your wallets or your cell phones in your backpack. I have my own side bag, like a side body bag,
Hmm.
where I put all those so that they don't get stolen. So
Well, people can bring their fanny packs.
yeah, exactly. It's actually a fanny pack, and then you just make the strap longer to make it into a side body um, purse. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, you need one of those because once you put it in your backpack, it's gone. Like if you're in a clothing store, I mean, they will try different ways to get it open and steal it.
Are there no cameras in the metro or in the shops that?
No, there are cameras. Normally inside the clothing shops there aren't any cameras. I,
Hmm,
well, I mean, in the small boutique shops, no,
yeah.
but of course at the mall they do.
Yeah.
But you don't want to rely on uh, the public cameras to. They don't care.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that to rely on those. Like if you're pickpocketed, I'd certainly go chase the person down if I knew they were doing it. I wouldn't just stop and look at the cameras, but you
Yeah,
know,
it doesn't scare those pickpockets.
right,
So
right.
I would just recommend any of the people to have their own like a hidden pocket to put them
Hmm.
in, not in the backpack.
Hmm. Well, with the I mean, with Corona going on now, is France open? Can people travel there, or are there restrictions?
Right now all the bars are closed. They're supposed to be closed for 2 weeks, and then the government is going to put out another message as to if the bars are going to be maintained closed or reopened.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurants are open. They're allowing people to sit outside, and so they have tables and chairs outside. And then just very few people inside the restaurants. It
Okay.
depends how small their restaurants are. But the traveling wise, as long as they take the COVID test within 72 hours from their departure date,
Mm-hmm.
from whatever country you're coming from. If once it's negative, then I believe at the airport where you're leaving from will allow you to get onto the plane. So, um,
So you
so
have to
that
take the test before you get on the airplane?
right.
Okay.
So I was in US not so long ago, and that's what I had to do. I took the test within 72 hours before my departure date, and at the airport, at the front, when I had to check in, that's when they checked for the test
Oh,
result. And the people who didn't have the test result, they couldn't get on,
oh, wow.
even if they purchased the ticket.
So, and it's non-refundable, I assume?
I think it's modifiable,
Oh, okay. Wow.
but it depends on the airline. So you want to make sure, like if you're coming to France, you want to make sure that you choose the airline that are frequently going in and out of France. So
Okay.
for example, if you're coming from US, obviously Delta or Air France.
Okay.
So even when it was high peak and even when there was a confinement, they were flying still, at least one plane. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Is there, so once the test comes back negative, there's no quarantine period when you get into France?
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really good. There's 2 weeks. They're still doing the 2 weeks here in Korea. So when you
Yeah.
fly
I mean, for
in,
my work,
mm,
I had to be in the quarantine just to be sure.
for
But
for work, okay.
right. But for travelers, there may be different regulation, but I would always recommend them to check out the website.
Yeah. Yeah. For anybody listening and traveling, whether it's France, Korea, to any country, check that out before you go and see if you need to test. You don't want to show up at
Right.
the airport and not have your results and then, you know, get kicked off or your plans have to change, whatever it may be. Um, the inconvenience that comes with that. So, yeah, be sure to check whether you guys can travel there, the requirements that you need to get into the place, to leave the country that you're traveling from, and all that information. Yeah, that's good. Mm,
Mhm.
wow. Well, it's nice to know that countries are opening back up again. I know I was talking with my wife and she was like, I just want to travel. I was like, I know, I wish we could hop on a plane today and just go somewhere.
Yeah. But
Miss it.
I mean, you guys can go to like nearby countries, no? Like, can't you guys go to Japan or
Well, the thing is,
Vietnam?
even if we leave, when we come back, we still have to do 2 week quarantine.
Yeah, that's always right.
So right now for us, it's just not worth it. But if we could do like you said, the take a test and 72 hours, we get the results back. If we could do something like that, then it might be an option to travel. All right, we have a visitor.
Yeah, my dog. She's called Toto. That's her name.
It looks like Toto.
Yeah, that's I wasn't thinking about that. I named her Toto because I wanted to call her Toki, which is rabbit in Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Toki can be kind of difficult for other people to pronounce here, so I just made it short and I called her Toto. But everybody's like, yeah, she looks like the Toto from Wizard of Oz,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, she does. Yeah.
She sure does. Hi, Toto.
Adopted. She's such a cutie.
She is a cute dog. Look at her.
Yeah. Can't really see her face because she's so dark. Yeah,
Well, Sue, this has been a fantastic conversation, and I learned something I didn't know about the lamb cheese. That's kind of cool for lactose intolerant people. That's some good information.
yeah, I don't think they have lamb cheese in US.
Yeah, I've never heard of lamb cheese anywhere I've
I
been.
know they
So,
have goat cheese.
yeah, they do. But, so I want to give you the time now. Is there anything you want to promote? Is there anything coming up or anything you want to talk about, share with people before we sign off?
No, not particularly to promote, but I did want to mention one area that I thought was kind of cool to visit, and I was told that it's really beautiful by my friend.
Okay.
It's near, it's also in Azaz region. It's called Ribeauville.
Ribeauville.
Ribeauville. It's Beauville. Um, like they have what they call a marché de Noël. It's like a Christmas market. And I was told that it's really beautiful there. And as well as they have their town is inspiration for the Beauty and the Beast, Belle's hometown.
Cool.
So you can
Belle's
see,
hometown.
right? Yeah. So
Cool.
that's one place that I would like visit. I mean, I would recommend visitors to visit if they go towards Strasbourg. It's south of Strasbourg, so it only takes 2 hours from Paris by train. So it's really easy to get to.
Wow, that must be a beautiful place. I bet kids would like to go there too.
Yeah, I think so. And then they have castles there and everything. So, you know, just check it out online, and they're going to see how beautiful it is. And in person, it's even more beautiful.
Oh, I can imagine. A lot of things are once you see it in person. It's quite different than a picture.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sue, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
But thank you for inviting me.
All right. All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in. And this is Yerba Travels signing off.